2020 means you have perfect vision. Why 20? Why not 10? Or 100%? Well, if you believe, like I strongly do, that we are running on scripts or scriptures, some that we haven't even discovered about ourselves, then you may also hypothesize that in 2020, we will all have perfect vision. What does this mean? It means on the 21st of December 2020, during the winter solstice, there's going to be a great cosmic solar event that will be seen and experienced by every single conscious being in our universe. This is what is commonly being described as the event. Why December 21st, 2020? There's natural scientific significance of this date with relation to our solar system. Most of you will know that on the azimuthal equidistant geocentric Earth model, the Sun coils up and around the electromagnetic dome that encapsulates our Earth for the summers, and coils down towards the end of our solar year to its southernmost position of the Tropic of Capricorn. And on December 21st is at its lowest zenith or y-axis point, the farthest out from our land center and the closest to the Earth vertically. This is what's known as the winter solstice from a northern hemisphere perspective. Once the Sun has reached its lowest point, it follows the same gradient circuit, neither ascending or descending for 3 days, before it then begins its journey back up to the Tropic of Cancer towards the top and center of our electromagnetic dome of this domain. Meaning, every year, for only these 3 days of our year, from the 21st to the 24th of December, the Sun is neither rising or falling along the electromagnetic torus field dome over and around us. The Sun only resumes its ascension back up to the top 3 days after the 21st, on the 25th of December. Sound familiar? Dead for 3 days, only to rise again? Anyway, if there's to be any kind of cosmic solar event, it would most likely happen during this period when the Sun figuratively dies and is waiting to rise again. Using the same principle, we hypothesize that all the other suns in all the other domains follow a similar solar system. As above, so below. As within, so without. However, obviously their seasons and solstices occur at different times in relation to their own individual ecosystems. You've heard us refer to this body of work as the master oscillation. That's basically what we're saying. All the luminaries have their own paths. Oscillations, secondary, third, and fourth oscillations, and eventually they all line up again, and eventually, they complete an even bigger cycle, fully lining up. And this only happens once every 6,000 years. So on December 21st, 2020, Mercury at the center, our Sun in this domain, Mars in the next domain, and Saturn in the last domain, and all the moons on the other side, will all stop and align in the same direction on the same path and gradient at the same time for the first time in 6,000 years. This is what we hypothesize is the long-awaited return of the Sun/Sun, or Christ, the galactic alignment, return of Nibiru, or Planet X, or consciousness. The great solar event. This cosmic solar alignment will take 3 days to fully align, starting on the 21st of December and ending on the 25th of December. The electromagnetic torus fields in all 4 realms will either disappear or open up or weaken due to this galactic solar alignment. This is the opening of the portals or windows of the heavens spoken of in the Bible. This opening should occur for 7 days, from the 25th to the 31st of December 2020. It also means everyone on Earth will all be able to see all the different wandering solar systems of all the domains clearly in our skies. Everyone will have 2020 vision. And if you think about it logically, if all the luminaries are at their lowest points, that would make everything above us easy to see, bright, and crystal clear. On a side note, isn't it interesting that we've all been conditioned to be the most busy during the specific time of year every year, and blinded to the Earth's true oscillations, signs, and beauty? Yeah, we celebrate. However, the ways we do it and the reasons we do it are perverted. Even with how many trees we cut down every year to carry out a ritual, which could actually be a geocentric ritual to begin with. The tree of life, the Christmas tree. This period of time is what the ancient cultures were describing when they said there was a time when the sky fell. Many ancient cultures also describe a time where there were many suns and many moons in our sky, and we believe history is about to repeat itself again. This phenomenon will affect and change our atmospheric conditions as well. These events periodically happen over cyclical time in various scales. The last big one occurred in 1859 and was called the Carrington Event. Feel free to look it up. The one coming in 2020 is going to be much, much bigger. This solar alignment is meant to realign cosmic energy and consciousness within the various earthly domains and realms of our Earth. This energy blast will begin at the center of the Earth, or the North Pole. It will spiral outwards towards the edge and bounce back towards the center over a very short period of time. The event itself will be triggered by an electromagnetic sonic boom that will look like what we know as a nuclear atomic bomb. Don't worry though, it will not be an atomic bomb. However, it will positively be nuclear. It will give humanity a new, clear vision for the future, individually and collectively. It will give us 2020 vision. We suspect the current powers that be will attempt to use this natural cosmic event as the ultimate false flag. They may say aliens did it, or it was caused by global warming, or an attack from across the world. This sonic boom of electromagnetic energy may shut down our entire electric grid instantaneously, causing a collapse of our financial, socio-economic, political, and collective cultural existence as we know it. And thus, this event may be used to pave the way for a new order in our world. But this cosmic event is not to be feared. It is a natural process to allow growth within our individual and collective consciousness. The greenish astral rays that this event will create will cover the entire plane of our Earth for a short period of time. Again, it is not to be feared. Governments and authorities will most likely tell us that this green mist caused by this event is a toxin. They will tell us to stay indoors and not go outside into the radiation. Avoid it at all costs. They will say it's harmful radiation. And it will be. For those who have heavy metals in their bodies, i.e. vaccines, iron from meat eating, etc. But for those without harmful chemicals in their bodies, the radiation will radiate and activate dormant DNA, potentially giving you supernatural abilities. Maybe not Superman-like, however a heavy increase in consciousness and your 5 senses will be expected. And for those of us planning to make the pilgrimage up north to the central realm of our Earth, aka the Garden of Eden, this will be our window of opportunity. Many of you here will also know the Mayans predicted the end of their calendar year, or the apocalypse, would happen on the 21st of December, 2012. Take note of this date, December 21st, 2012. The Bible also talks about the 7 trumpets of preparation before the return of Christ, or the Son of God. And after the 7th trumpet, he, the great Son, will return. Well, we hypothesized that the Mayans were spot on with their prediction. Their December 21st, 2012 date marked the beginning of the end. And the 7th trumpet, of course, 7 years later, December 21st, 2019. Which means December 21st, 2020 will be the first year after the 7 trumpets, the 8th year. 8, of course, being the number of completion. And it is also written that everyone on earth will witness the return of Christ consciousness, or the Son of God. Side note, we are just citing scriptures. None of us on the team here are religious or trying to push any dogma on anyone. On the 16th of November, 2017, we had a very strange phenomenon occur in this realm. Many of you will remember the red sun and red skies we witnessed and experienced in most of the world. We hypothesize this was a sign of what's to come for those who are paying attention. I know everyone here probably witnessed and experienced this phenomenon, but how many of you actually took note? Of course, mainstream narrative at the time was that it was nothing important, just dust from the desert blocking the sun, and so that little solar event came and went with hardly anyone taking note. Well, for those with eyes to see and ears to hear, please take note. Moving on, we hypothesize that the opening of these electromagnetic torus fields on the 25th of December 2020 will create an atmospheric plasma discharge due to all the different solar systems of our cosmos being in direct contact with one another. This will create a rainbow effect atmosphere all over Earth in all the realms, an atmospheric twilight, if you will. More importantly though, this opening event will also allow for physical travel between all 4 realms or domains for those with the technology or means to do so. We might call this real interdimensional or outer or inner space travel. Here's another big red pill. NASA has openly admitted on numerous occasions that we humans cannot go past low Earth orbit or beyond the Van Allen electromagnetic belts or domes. However, during this period, we believe we will finally be able to do so. And what does that mean for us? Well, all these different realms are going through their own individual cosmic shifts, seasons, and ages. Because the spiral ripple began at the center, it technically means that, at the center, the inner dome or realm is 3,000 years ahead of us. They have already had 3,000 years of Bronze Age, where we in this realm haven't yet. Our reset happened 3,000 years after theirs, which means, during this 7-day cosmic event, anyone able or allowed to enter this inner realm will technically be time traveling 3,000 years into the future, or ahead of time. In layman's terms, I'm saying that this inner domain is 3,000 years ahead of us technologically, physically, mentally, spiritually, and consciously. And yes, this is where we propose the concept of time travel into the future comes from. And on the flip side, as the ripples shifting outwards towards the Mars domain, they would now be 3,000 years behind us. So, going from our plane to theirs, we would be time traveling backwards 3,000 years. So, why on earth do the leaders of the free world think it's necessary to militarize space all of a sudden? And why on earth are space agencies and governments all talking about being the first to colonize Mars? Let's look at the definition of colonization. The act or process of settling among and establishing control over the indigenous people of an area. Or, the action of appropriating a place or domain for one's own use. Makes you wonder if the very same so-called elite royal bloodlines and families who colonized this realm during our reset fall from gold to iron 3,000 years ago are about to do the same thing to this outer domain currently falling from their golden to iron age. As they say, there's nothing new under the sun, and history always repeats itself. With that in mind, let's rewind to something that happened very recently. December 22nd, 2017, the SpaceX Falcon launch. Note the date too, December 22nd, 2017. Wonder how many of you recall the unusual effects witnessed within this particular launch. It looked like the Falcon X was trying to pierce through something. Or perhaps, testing the outer electromagnetic belt or torus field. Kinda makes you wonder, were they trying to beat the clock? Perhaps they succeeded and the secret colonization of Mars is already underway as we speak, hence the militarization of space. However, if they didn't succeed, I'm willing to bet we're going to see another very similar attempt around the same time this year and next. Okay, let's stop for a second. I had to add this after the final edit. This script was written months and months ago. I got this script months and months ago, and as I was developing it, I wondered what would happen mid to late November as I was rendering that part. And the universe didn't let me down. Late November, we have Mars Insight. Crazy. Interdimensional earthly time travel is not just a matter of anyone packing their bags and simply going there. There are obviously many extenuating circumstances, like universal and natural laws, that determine how, when, and who can travel where. For instance, the advanced Bronze and Silver Age beings at the center would not want or allow any primitive Iron Age being from the outside into their domain, as it would unbalance their natural harmonic existence. So anyone here, from this realm, wishing to travel ahead of time into this inner realm would generally need to be, quote-unquote, ahead of their time here, where we currently are, vibrating at a high frequency spiritually, mentally, physically, mind, body, and soul. Many scriptures call this the days of reckoning, or judgment day, or the return of a messiah or messenger of some kind. In this case, we believe this is the so-called event, the return of Messiah. Anyway, let's move on. Those who are ahead of their time in this realm will somehow be given the opportunity to go up ahead of time into this inner or upper realm when the time comes. Likewise, we also believe that those still lagging or holding on to old, outdated, backwards paradigms will of course naturally be drawn back in time to the outer realm. This is where we hypothesize our current elite establishment is planning on going to install a new world order for those beings out there. Most people in our realm, though, will be staying here, in this domain, after the event, to continue experiencing, learning, and growing in the upcoming new Bronze Age and One World Order. And exactly how or what this new age or order is going to be, who knows exactly, but what we do know is that this domain will not be anything like it currently is today after the event. And so finally, when these 7 days have passed over, January 1st, 2021, on New Year's Day, the first day of the first month of 2021, the electromagnetic torus fields or domes of each domain will fall back into place as they were. The celestial bodies will realign, and once again the wandering planets or suns and moons will resume their natural cycles, seasons, and movements, thus allowing for all the different domains to begin their new respective cosmic solar and celestial ages. And so, the wheels of time will continue to turn, forever moving forward in cyclical cycles and seasons. Now, of course, we're very much aware that what we are proposing may happen seems a little outrageous and possibly overwhelming, or let's face it, you might think this is batch crazy if you're hearing this kind of stuff for the first time. But we're not trying to preach or sell anything, simply sharing information based on cosmological, astrological, mythological, and observable reality syncretized research. This could all be completely wrong, or even slightly wrong, and if so, that's fine, no harm done, life goes on. Or this could be partially right, or even very close to the truth. At which point, if or when these events occur, at least those of us who will have received this good news will be prepared, mentally, psychologically, and possibly spiritually as well. Of course, right now under this domain, we are collectively going through some very difficult birthing pains as we make this shift. However, those in tune with these changes are adapting and consciously evolving with it. This is the so-called conscious awakening. But even more importantly, those who fully understand what's going on are able to accordingly prepare for the changes that are occurring and coming. This is what J.P. Morgan meant when he was quoted saying, "Astrology. Millionaires don't use astrology. Billionaires do." Astrology is simply the natural science of understanding, reading, recording, and following seasons and cycles of the stars and heavens of our universe. Astro simply means heavens or stars. Logi or logi simply means logs or logging. We are astro-logging, making logs, logging all the data of the stars. That's all astrology is, reading and recording of the heavens, stars, cycles, seasons, and ages. It's even written in all the ancient scriptures that in the last days many will not know the exact time and date, but those with wisdom and discernment of the heavens will be prepared. Keep your eyes to the heavens and look out for the signs of what's to come. So the final question, is all of this intelligently designed, and if so, by whom or what and why? As far as we're concerned, the answer is definitely yes. Everything we've talked about is most definitely intelligently designed. Microcosms of macrocosms, the system and order of our Earth, nature, cosmology, conscious energy, and everything else in our universe is just too beautiful and perfectly symbiotic and synchronized to be a random event or evolutionary. Who or where or what is the creator of all this? Here. Yep, right here in this very room and everywhere else around us and within our universe and beyond. We are all co-creators, conscious spirits, souls, or forces of energy. Everything is energy. Everything is electromagnetic frequency, sound, and vibration, down to the sine wave. Quote-unquote God, any God, all gods, are energy. After all, even religion tells us that God is everything and nothing at the same time, right? The Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, intelligent, conscious, immeasurable, unquantifiable, the source, the creator, just is. And since all of us are little conscious fields of energy, that perhaps we are all small manifestations of a greater conscious field of energy, soul, or spirit. Perhaps all of us are from the same original source, simply experiencing life individually, separate from the whole, little creators, in quality but not quantity, playing a game of cosmic hide-and-seek with ourselves, all part of the same one song, one verse, the universe, just singing in different tunes and octaves at different frequencies, and desperately trying to find a harmonic, melodic balance. And when we do, eventually, individually and collectively find harmony, we will finally be vibrating or singing from the same one verse in our universe. And this is what many mystics, gurus, teachers, cultures, and religions mean when they say we are one. But for now, I think we're extremely far from that, and there's still much learning, exploration, and experiencing and growth to be had on this so-called journey of life before we get to harmony. There are still many seasons to be seen, roles to be played, cosmic ages, seasons, and events to be had amongst all this craziness and confusion we call life.